right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us. The president, as another hurricane heads to Puerto Rico, claiming that he believes only 7 to 14 people died in the Maria death toll. Well, according to the Milken Institute School of Public Health at the George Washington University, this was an independent study, okay, and the death toll estimated at 2,975. There are other studies that came up with very similar numbers. The president is lying. The number to call if you want to be a part of the program, by the way, 702-257-5396. We mentioned it last night. Kayleigh McEnany was on Chris Cuomo's show on CNN. She is another one of these Donald Trump pundits. Trump can do no wrong, according to Kellyanne McEnany. And when Cuomo asks her the question, has the president ever lied? She turns it around and says, no, the president's never lied. The media lies. And then she goes after Chris Cuomo. Listen to this.
If you can't admit that he lied, these people are never going to believe you about anything.
I think you should take a look in the mirror,
all right?
Chris.
I do. And I don't like these lines, but I do like that I don't lie to my audience every damn chance I get.
He's right. He's right. He's 100% right. And listen, I don't always agree with Chris Cuomo. I've never agreed with McEnany or any of these other Trump idiots who go on these networks, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all the time. And according to them, Trump can do no wrong. He is the next Messiah. You want to talk about no credibility? Kayleigh McEnany is the poster child for that. Again, that number to call is 257-5396. Why don't we go to Bruce first? Bruce, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. What's on your mind, my friend?
What's up, Bruce?
Hey, Brian, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I just had a quick comment. Obviously, it's a tragedy, whatever number it is.
Yeah.
My point is real simple. I don't think many people would argue that my biggest problem with politicians is they're elected to get things done for the American people. I know maybe it's good for ratings. People used to like to watch Jerry Springer because all the stupid drama that went on. But at any rate, my point is this. They're elected to do things for the American people. And I just get kind of burned out and tired on, arguing about how many people were at this guy's rally, how many people were at Elizabeth Warren's rally.
I agree.
In the grand scheme of things, what does that really matter?
Well, I agree.
Done for the American people.
Bruce, I agree with you. Make no mistake about it. But I also think it is important that the president of the United States is honest and truthful with the American people. I'm sure you would agree with that.
You have a valid point, Brian. But my thing is, it's like people spend so much time criticizing each other. Democrats criticizing Republicans, Republicans criticizing Democrats.
Well, Bruce,
can I just forget about all that and get something done?
Well, Bruce, it's what I say all along, and I don't disagree. I think the two worst words in this country are Democrat and Republican, because you're absolutely right. It's kind of like if you're a Lakers fan or a Celtics fan, right? They bicker amongst each other. They never get anything done. And I think the biggest issue in society today in politics is what people do is they side with their own party and they choose party over Americans and just doing the right thing for people. And I agree with you.
That's why I love listening to you, because, I agree with you on a lot of points. I consider myself independent because, the major parties have kind of just burned me out. But the last point I'd like to make is I'm just going to give you an example. I was an electrician for many years that did commercial construction. My boss didn't hire me to sit there and look at plumbing pipes and say, this guy's copper work doesn't look very good. I mean, he hired me to run my conduit and pull my wire.
Right.
So it's like, why don't they just forget about all the bickering, which I know it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately.
That's really why they were hired. And, I know you made that point before, and I just wanted to back you up on it.
Well, Bruce, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. And we certainly agree on this issue. And call back anytime, my friend. Thank you.
Good call, Bruce. Yeah,
Thank you.
Polarized America is good for major media in America.
He's right, though. And I've said that.
Because it brings money, and it brings a lot of it through ratings and advertisers and sponsors. And that's why right now this is the most polarized America has been, probably in the last 30 or 40 years.
JD, I've been saying that since I was 20 years old, that Republicans and Democrats, all they do what's right for their party, not what's right for the country. You cannot, and listen, I give blame to the Democrats as well. There's no question. But last I checked, the guy that's in the White House right now is a Republican. He is the divider in chief. And again, to make no mistake about it, if Republicans want to bring up Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, whoever, Obama didn't exactly bring people together either. I thought Bill Clinton did a pretty good job reaching across the aisle.
Clinton was the best bipartisan president.
We need a president like
in the
that.
last 30 years.
And I don't care if you're a Democrat.
And Barack Obama was a horrible president for racial relations in America.
But I think Donald Trump is a horrible president for any relations.
Well, I disagree with that, but I don't think he's great for racial relations.
Well, let's just talk
neither
about
are the networks for the way they perpetuate everything that's going on right now because it puts more money in their pocket.
Well, let's just talk about
both Fox and CNN.
Let's just talk about what's going on in the last 24 hours. Puerto Rico, they have not recovered from that last hurricane. They haven't recovered. The numbers are staggering, and we got another hurricane coming along, and the president decides to go on Twitter attacking Puerto Rico, attacking the politicians, attacking everybody, making the numbers lower than they are.
Brian, in all fairness, this hurricane is going to hit Florida much harder than it's going to hit Puerto Rico.
But you understand my point.
And I think Florida should be the priority.
Well, first of all, saving innocent people's lives and being prepared should be the priority, but you understand the point I'm trying to make. It brings back horrible memories, and they still haven't recovered, and the president makes it about himself again. I'm the best thing to ever happen to Puerto Rico. Are you kidding me? Is this a joke?
Yeah, that's an obscene statement.
It is beyond obscene.
And it doesn't make any sense.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. The man makes obscene statements on a daily basis. That is indefensible. The number to call, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Marge. Marge, what's going on?
What's up, Marge?
So one question for you, Brian. So are they going to deduct it from your paycheck if you're using too much paper?
You're talking about toilet paper? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm making too many runs to the bathroom this morning. I had some bad
you're
sushi.
It very public.
Well,
so
and he requires this soft silk special toilet paper that they have to order.
All right, don't talk about that. Nobody wants to know about my bathroom.
Hey,
habits.
it's your
Trust
problem,
me.
not mine.
I hope you get better.
Thank you, Marge.
I did see that study that you said about the 2975. That was from February of 2017
right.
to February of 2018, so that was a long period. But when Trump visited right after, the numbers, and these were all estimates, nobody really had a good way of measuring things, were much lower. But what's also interesting about that report is even though they were communicating to some degree with the people and everything, the people don't have the resources to do anything about it.
Right.
You know, financially, they're older, they have chronic medical conditions, things of that nature.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's a third world country, basically. I mean,
exactly.
it's the infrastructure. And that has nothing to do with Donald Trump. In fact, you could blame the last 15 U.S. presidents for that if you want to.
Look, make no mistake about it. Never did I say that the president was responsible for 3,000 deaths in Puerto Rico. What I am saying, though, it is beyond inappropriate, or J.D. just said obscene, to make the statement that he is the best thing to ever happen to Puerto Rico.
Right.
When there's another hurricane coming, they're going to get hit.
It just sounds. I don't see why it's not productive, because it's not. If it's not true, it's not going to be true. But and knowing that, people are going to construe it as something that it doesn't need to be, it's going to have a negative outcome regardless. Yeah. There's no positive that comes out of that statement for Donald Trump, because it's just over the top.
And as I recall, I think there was several months ago, there was money designated for Puerto Rico in the recovery. And I'm not sure if this happened or not, but I recall hearing something about that he was going to divert some of that money for something else, maybe the wall. I'm not sure if that ever happened or not, but, this is a time where he should feel compassion for these people.
I don't think he's a very compassionate person.
No, he's not.
No.
He's absolutely not. And he's only, he's attacking again because I think what he's fearing is that if something happens, then, he's going to be blatantly attacked. So it's a diversionary tactic also.
And it's me, I.
Exactly.
That's what every single one of his tweets is, me,
he's
I.
definitely protecting himself in case something big does happen. But Dorian's about to be a Category 4, and it's going to hit Florida.
Yeah, that's what they're saying now.
But that happens every year.
Yeah.
But it's indirect. I mean, Puerto Rico just seems to be in a wrong position in the world, shall we say,
Yeah.
So if it's not direct, it's going to be indirect, and they're still going to have – and the houses that have those tarps and everything, I mean, that's terrible.
It's horrible.
Even later. I mean, somebody should have been doing something as far as
there's
that.
no question.
Well, I'm going to give you an example. There was a music festival that was trying to be thrown in the Bahamas called the Fire Festival. I'm sure you've heard all about it. But they spent about $20 million in 6 months trying to create enough infrastructure for a few thousand people, and they didn't even come close. That's how difficult it is to build something like that in an area surrounded by water like Puerto Rico is.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you for the call, Marge. Always
thanks,
good
Marge.
always good to hear from you. Thank you. Again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, is 257-5396. Let's go to Brady. Brady, what's going on?
What's up, Brady?
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. Hey, I want to bring up, you're talking about Puerto Rico, and the problem with what happened in the beginning is when the Puerto Rican government reported their facts on how many people were killed initially in that storm, I think the number was 59 or something, right around 60. And then what happened with the Puerto Rico after 6 or 7 months, a lot of people died from like sepsis and diabetes.
Oh, of course.
And then they revised that estimate, and it went up to 3,000.
Well, they made the hurricane as the reason for those sicknesses, and that may or not have been true.
So let me ask you a question, Brady. Regardless of the numbers, do you think now – I always ask you these basic logical questions. I'll ask it here this way. Do you think now is the appropriate time for the President of the United States to say that he is the best thing to happen to Puerto Rico? Do you think now is the time for the President of the United States to talk about the numbers of the deaths, claiming that it was under 15 and blaming Democrats for the rise in death toll numbers? Do you think now is the time for the President of the United States to attack the people of Puerto Rico, politicians, people in government across the board? Don't you think a president should show some leadership at this time and be doing everything he can to make sure that disaster doesn't happen again instead of attacking people and lying?
Well, that's about 4 or 5 questions, but I'll try to answer one of them.
Brady, we're going to give you 25 minutes to anscer those questions, okay?
Okay.
You get 6 minutes per question.
Please don't listen to
JP.
JP.
Like a Gatling
You're
gun
our guest today.
Okay. Do you remember what happened when the hurricane rolled through Puerto Rico the last time? What did that mayor of Puerto Rico do to Donald Trump, and how did they bash Donald Trump completely the whole time?
Do you remember how it started?
There was a reason, too, and Donald Trump, I would have taken offense to it, too, because that country was never, ever prepared. They had no telephone.
Do you remember
poles,
how it
nothing.
started? Do you remember how the bickering started? Do you remember why the mayor went after Donald Trump? By the way, do you remember him throwing paper towels at a few people? Do you think the president should be doing that? Like it's a frickin' basketball, throwing paper towels when people are dying? Do you remember that? The mayor criticized him for that, and then the president shot back 10 times harder, as inappropriately as he could. It started with the president.
And then after that, as soon as that storm rolled through, what did Donald Trump do? He rolled in the ships and the cargo ships and took care of Puerto Rico and got no credit for it from the Puerto Ricans.
Will you stop it with credit? Why does the president always need credit? He's the most insecure man in the world, Brady. I appreciate
it. No, but it would be nice if someone mentioned that, because that did take place.
So 3,000 people die, and we should give the president is the best thing to happen to Puerto Rico. Come on, Brady.
Brian, we both know 3,000 people is not the right number.
I don't know that.
It's probably 400 to 600. That's probably the right number.
I'm going to go by this study by Washington University.
Okay, fine. Is it possible that 3,000 died in the year after that?
Did under 20 people die?
And some of that happened because of the hurricane? Absolutely. But I don't think that 3,000 died due to that hurricane.
Did under 20 people die?
Absolutely not.
Okay, then can you call the president a liar?
I can say he exaggerates on a consistent basis.
Exaggerates?
Yeah.
It's a lie.
I can say so is an exaggeration a lie?
It depends on the level. It depends on the level of it. I'm not the president of the United States.
Hey, I know. I agree. The tweet was obscene. It makes zero sense at all. It's only going to create a negative reaction. That's it. I mean, because 7 to 14 is unreasonably low considering what happened.
It's ridiculous.
It's unreasonably low.
The point
it's unreal. It's not even plausible. Maybe if you said 350. 500, 175, but 7 to 14. Come on, Donald Trump. I support you, but that's over the top ridiculous.
Let's give him credit, though, because he threw paper towels at people. So, let's give him credit for that. Let's go to Ronald. Ronald, what's going on?
What's up, Ronald?
Thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. What's on your mind?
Okay, good day. Good show.
Thank you.
I only have this to say. I'm not a big Trump supporter, but I did vote for him. However, what I wanted to talk about is, how would you like to be the president of the United States and be attacked every day, 365 days a year for the last 2 years? He's done the best he can.
Not true.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ronald. It's pretty clear.
And he can, and everybody's attacking him for, if he don't do this, he don't do that. He's not right on this and not right on that. And I'm just saying, I think he's doing the best he can. Yes, he makes a few mistakes. I agree.
I'll tell you this, Ronald. He's definitely a merchant of chaos. He definitely enjoys the chaos. If he didn't, he wouldn't respond to every single attack. attack, he would respond to maybe 15% of it.
right.
But he responds to every single attack because he enjoys the digital warfare.
Ronald,
you can't deny that.
You only think he's made a few mistakes? You really believe that, Ronald? I think we lost Ronald. Ronald, you just made a mistake. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Nigel. Nigel, what's going on?
What's up, Nigel?
Good morning. Well, I'm a British guy from London in Las Vegas, and I live between here and the United Kingdom, and I've just found your show, so I'm really pleased to speak to you.
Thank you.
I wanted to say that I actually support Donald Trump, but I can't vote for him because I'm an English citizen. But I wanted to say one very important point, which I don't think has been mentioned on your show, and if it has, then I apologize for repeating it. That you're talking about the forthcoming hurricane to hit Florida and Puerto Rico, but of course, there's still the mess that still hasn't been cleaned up from Katrina.
Right, I agree.
And that's I think, a shock that is going to blight the U.S. for years to come. It's still a ghost town in parts of that area that have been hit.
And do you remember the Hurricane New Orleans when George Bush was president, and then Kanye West says, I don't think Bush cares about black people. By the way, I didn't agree with that statement. But do you remember that? Do you remember the way those people were treated, where they were hanging out on the roofs of their homes for what appeared to be days? And, listen, this has happened before where, unfortunately the relief doesn't come at a rapid pace or the pace that it should. And instead of everybody coming together, Nigel, to talk about how do we make sure these disasters, how do we deal with them in a better fashion? The president of the United States, who you voted for or you support, goes on social media and starts attacking the government now. He starts saying, only 7 to 14 people died. It's the timing of it, too. And even if he did this 6 months ago, I wouldn't agree with it. But the fact that he decides to do it when another disaster could be coming, to me, is disgusting.
Yeah, I think it's very, very insensitive. But I think with all major disasters, it's how you manage it and how you respond to it. It's very difficult when you've got hundreds, if not thousands, of people displaced in different parts of an area or a country or a city to get aid there immediately. It's actually impossible. But I still think that hopefully resources can be put into place and hopefully people won't lose lives, but I think that they will. And hopefully things can. I think what needs to happen is political parties need to stop saber rattling and get together and try and be more proactive and responsive in their efforts to support people.
Hey, Nigel, so thanks for the call. First, I hope you're enjoying Las Vegas. While I have you on the line, I want to get your thoughts on Boris Johnson, the new Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Well, Boris Johnson, of course, is the blonde bombshell, which Donald Trump says he's a great guy, he's a good guy. We love Boris. Well, I know Boris relatively well. I think that he's made a remarkable change. He's forthright, he's strong, he's charismatic, and whatever you have in any leader, you need charisma. And you need charisma because someone recognizes you for your charisma and indeed for your galvanization of your party and your politics. And I think what's important about Boris Johnson, he's opened the checkbook and started writing checks to make Britain better than it is at the moment, because Britain is in a terrible sense of decline with austerity. And hopefully by pushing forward with his new goals and ambitions to make our country a better place. I was going to say make it great again, but of course I can't copy a phrase that's already been made.
Nigel, I need a favor from you. I want you to say, "Hi, I'm Nigel, and I listen to the Vegas Take" in your voice. I just want to hear that. Can you do that for us?
Of course. Hi, I'm Nigel, and I listen to the Vegas Take, and I'm very proud to be a part of the show in wonderful Las Vegas.
I love it, Nigel.
Perfect, Nigel. Thank you.
Nigel, you call back anytime, my friend. I like that. Have a good one. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Lisa. Lisa, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's on your mind?
What's up, Lisa?
Well, for one, I love the fact that Nigel called in. I'm sorry he's a Trump supporter, but, we've all got our crosses to bear. I just want to say thank you, guys. It's refreshing to hear something on the radio that is not all completely one-sided. Unfortunately, you're going to find most of your callers are used to the talk radio of the Republican side. And so that's the callers I think that you're getting. But I'm out here. I'm out here and I'm listening, and I just want to say thank you. Unfortunately, we are discussing again our president again, lying again. And it's not so much the lie, it's the repeated lies.
But, Lisa, hang on a second. You know, one of Donald Trump's staunch supporters was on CNN last night, and she said the president never lies, right? So we must believe her.
Yes, I did hear that. Unfortunately, I did hear that. You know, what can you expect? If you support a liar, sometimes you become one.
That's, you know what? That is very, very well said, Lisa. I think you should run for office. That's what I think you should do.
It's just so ridiculous, this statement that she made. Brian, have you lied in your life before?
Absolutely.
I have lied. Lisa has lied. Everybody in the world has lied.
I would look at you right now.
So why would she possibly go on national television and claim that the president of the United States has never lied?
Because she's an idiot. That's why.
It's just
because she's a buffoon. That's why. Because she gets paid by people on the right.
She must be actually getting paid a large amount of money.
She's going to be on the campaign in 2020.
She has to be getting paid a large amount of money to make a statement that ridiculous.
Because she's a Nimrod.
You know, it dumbfounds me that people have just seemed to have lost all their senses.
Yeah.
It's not about being on the left, being on the right, in the middle, a Democrat, a Republican.
Yeah.
It's just logical. We all know Donald Trump is lying.
Yeah.
If you say he's not, then you are not listening.
Yeah. For the record,
he has been lying since before he was
Barack
elected.
Come lied. George Bush lied.
Come on.
Bill Clinton. Everybody. What I'm saying
not
is
at the same extent. Not even close.
Everybody lies.
Absolutely.
That's why what she said was so
Everybody lies.
crazy.
But you know what? When you're the president of the United States and you repeatedly lie, it's not so much about all the lies;
Exactly.
it's about the repeated lies.
Exactly.
The lies that there are little lies, there are big lies.
I agree.
We all say lies sometimes to prevent hurting people's feelings. We don't make lies up so that we can actually target people.
I agree. And the orange bimbo that is in office right now, his orange nose is getting bigger and bigger by the day. Lisa, we appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Good to hear from you. 257-5396 is the number to call. Got to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You are listening to The Vegas Take.